All right, let's talk Green Bay Packers. This is obviously one of the contenders, not just in the NFC North, but in the entire NFC. And they made a lot of great moves this offseason. They're clearly trending in a good direction. Hopefully, with a healthy roster, predominantly a healthy Jordan Love, this team can return to going back to making deep title runs. But lost in all the hustle and bustle on the offensive side of the football, there's a breakout star emerging opposite the line of scrimmage. This is a great sign for the Packers, which we'll get to in just 1 second. But first, I'm Nick. That is Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, the Green Bay Packers, and we talked about it a lot last season, really got themselves a young superstar when they selected Edin Cooper out of Texas A&M. He had a very solid rookie season, and based on the data we've seen so far, in fact, when you compare him to a lot of different all-time great linebackers, it's obvious this young Green Bay Packer is trending in the right direction to the point where he goes from an exciting, talented rookie to a great linebacker to a superstar defender. And if you look at the trajectory he was on during his rookie season, it's clear his upswing is just absolutely outstanding. Let's go ahead and pull up our first chart here to talk about exactly what I'm trying to highlight here. So this is Edrin Cooper's rolling performance. Basically, what we did here is we took the 4-week average of Edrin Cooper's performance according to PFF to like smooth out aberrations, right? We wanted to see, okay, if he had a game that was terrible and a game that was great, it kind of smooths out when he used a 4-week average. So you can see as we work our way through the season here, and he missed a few games, but you can work our way through it all the way to the wild card loss. You can see the first slate, he was kind of oscillating between 60 and 70, actually dipped below 60 very briefly. But right as he got more playing time and he got more confident, got more experienced, bang, he shot up like a rocket well above 70 and stayed there and actually elevated above 80 and ended up hovering around an 80 PFF grade overall when it was all said and done when we're talking about his rolling average performance. This is what I look for a breakout start. I look for young guys, specifically guys in their rookie year, that figured it out at the end of the season. There's sort of a cliche that these young rookies hit the rookie wall. To me, that's a sign that this is a guy that had a good start to his rookie season, but as teams got film on him, he kind of fell off. I like guys that are improving as they finish their rookie season because to me, that's an indicator that they're able to adapt their game and continue to learn, continue to grow. They figure out the NFL. The NFL doesn't figure out them. That's what makes stars. That's what makes breakout players. And this data here highlights exactly why Edrin Cooper will be a breakout player for the Green Bay Packers going forward. But it's not just his data, his improvement on an individual basis. When you compare him to recent, just we're talking superstar, all-time great caliber linebackers, Cooper grades very favorably. Let's go into our next chart here to highlight what I'm talking about. So this is Edrin Cooper's rookie year with a bunch of PFF grades. We're talking overall run defense, pass rush, and coverage to three other, we're talking Pro Bowl, all pro linebackers working left to right. We got Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Edrin Cooper. You can see on the far right there. And the grades, we got 4 each. We got overall grade, run defense grade, pass rush grade, and coverage grade. And you can clearly see, just looking at the chart in front of you, there's a lot of different metrics, a lot of different bars going on. But you can see that Edrin Cooper exceeded Fred Warner. We know how good Fred Warner is. Exceeded Roquan Smith. We know how good Roquan Smith is. Edrin Cooper, in some ways, was as good as Bobby Wagner. Not as good in others, but when you average it out, was right about Bobby Wagner's level. So again, this is Edrin Cooper. Based on the analytics, based on the guys over at PFF, his rookie season, he was better than Fred Warner's rookie season, better than Roquan Smith's rookie season, and essentially the same as Bobby Wagner's rookie season. That is an outstanding endorsement for this young linebacker. We did a lot of film reviews of him last year. He made a lot of plays. He was a great addition to this Packers defense. But now we can take a step back and look at how he finished the season, like I highlighted in the other chart, trending in the right direction. He's figuring the game out. The game isn't figuring him out. And overall, when you look at the advanced analytics, he's better than a lot of all-time greats and at the same level as others. This young Green Bay Packers player, he's going to emerge as a superstar for this Green Bay defense. We talk about Jordan Love. We talk about Golden. We talk about Josh Jacobs, what's going on in the offensive line. I get it. All of that matters. Jair Alexander's gone, right? I understand all that conversation, all that matters. But lost in all of that noise and all that hustle and bustle is a superstar in the making that is ready to explode in the NFL, and his name is Edrin Cooper. All right, Miles, I know you've got a few thoughts on the Packers and Cooper, but first, Green Bay fans, in the comment section below, we're talking linebackers, obviously. So, in your opinion, who is the greatest linebacker in Green Bay Packers history? Now, look, obviously, you can go back to the Lombardi era, right? You can. I'm not going to hold that against you, but maybe go a little bit more recent, maybe going under the radar that people kind of forgot who was really good. Give us the greatest Green Bay Packers linebacker, in your opinion, put them in the comment section below. But Miles, over to you now. What are your thoughts on the Packers and Edin Cooper?
Yeah, Nick, I think when you look at Edin Cooper, obviously the guy did fantastic last year. He was a great addition to this Packers team. He graded out fifth among all linebackers with the performances he put up. And all the stats you show, I think just shows this guy did a lot of good statistical stuff as far as his grades. He graded out really nicely in a lot of different categories. But one thing I like as well, and it's kind of in the same vein, is he got more productive as well as the season went on. It's similar, but a little bit different in a way. And we look at something, what is something that a linebacker can do? You can get stops. That's a big stat for linebackers. Can you blow up the play? Can you make it a loss for the offense? That's pretty much the status quo, the goal for a linebacker. And as the season goes on, kind of like you said, I'm gonna read out some chunks of the year for us and see how he did game to game for stops. So for the first part of the season, his stops 1 0 0 2 2. So nothing too crazy. We look at the middle of this season and it goes 3 1 3 1 3. So okay, he's getting more consistent, getting more stops, but up and downs, like you said, there has to be some more consistency. Now we look at the end of the year for Edrin Cooper, 4 4 6 5 4. He just starts to really uptick as far as his productiveness goes and his ability to make plays for this Packers defense. So I think this is really great. I think we're seeing, like you said, breakout potential. Edin Cooper, he already did really good as a rookie, but this guy is lining up to be an absolute superstar for the Packers here. I think they got a really fantastic player here. But one other thing I want to say, some people say, oh, well, maybe played a weaker schedule the last half of the season. No, in fact, they didn't. You had Seattle, you had Minnesota, you had Philadelphia in the wild card game, had Chicago. Chicago's up and coming. Don't sleep on them. New Orleans kind of up and down one there. That'd be the one. But up 4 out of 5 teams being pretty solid teams that Cooper went up against. I like that. I like what's going on there. I really like the production he put up against some really good teams. And one other thing I see, you look at the beginning of the year versus Philly, he had one stop at the end. He was able to bump that up to 4. So against a really talented offensive line, a team in Philadelphia that obviously won the Super Bowl, he did some good stuff and he was able to improve against, let's say, the best team in the league. They won the Super Bowl. They earned that acknowledgement. They didn't even win. They dominated the Super Bowl. So seeing what he did against one of the better teams in the league, I think that's really important here for Cooper, just showing you can kind of see it's funny how it bookends in the first game and the last game of his rookie year, just showing, okay, how can you go out and be great against a team like Philly? Your coverage grade, 60.9 that first game versus Philly. Last game of the season, 83.4 coverage grade against Philly. Just all over the board, Cooper did really fantastic and he progressed really well. He got more productive, and we've seen him doing it against really good competition as well. So I think the Packers got a win here. I think Cooper is going to be a long time piece for the future. And like you said, I think this year was just the beginning. I think we're about to see him explode and become a superstar for this Green Bay team.
And it's a good point that everything you brought up there, and there's something we talk about on this channel all the time, and it sounds a little cliche, but I think it really bears worth repeating here, is that these players, these athletes, they're not like video game guys where your rating is, your score is, your performance scale, whatever it is that's who you are, right? If you're rated an 80, that's who you are forever. If you're rated a 70, that's who you are. Players get better. Players sometimes get worse, right? The quality of a player changes in the National Football League, especially as you work through your rookie year and work through your second year and become more comfortable if you're going to be a good player. And I think that's the big takeaway here is that Edrin Cooper got better with more snaps. That is a huge indicator. You brought up the fact he was more productive, more stops. You can also go look at his snap count. His first game against the Philadelphia Eagles, you mentioned he finished with 11 snaps. His last game, 60. So again, we're talking increasing his snaps 5.5x from the week 1 matchup to the wild card matchup. This is a guy who got better with more snaps. This is a guy with more playing time, becomes more productive, which obviously makes sense, but also has improved advanced analytics like I showed in the first graph. He just gets better and better and better the more he plays. And that's what makes up a breakout star, right? These are guys that you're like, hey, listen, we didn't know exactly how to use him his rookie year or early in his rookie season. How is he going to fit in the defense? What exactly can his skill set translate to? And he does some good things in minimal reps, and you give him more and more, and he just gets better and better and makes more and more plays. And now you work through an entire season. You can now work through an off season. You have all this great film of how you can use them. And now they're ready to explode, right? Guys develop, guys get better, especially guys that are going to be superstars get better with more snaps. I think it's one of those things that's often forgotten. But even if you look at great quarterbacks, right, they get better the more they play. You look at, of course, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Peyton Manning. People remember them at the beginning of their careers in their first 3-4 years, completely different players by the time they're at their end of their careers. In fact, a lot of you Packers fans probably remember the first year or two with a guy like Aaron Rodgers compared to what he was like 3 or 4 years later. Different player, right? The great ones get better with more snaps. Quarterback is not alone in that regard. Every position, at least if you're a quality player, follows that trend. And Edin Cooper, by all accounts, production, analytics, momentum, is a quality player who's going to emerge as a big-time defensive playmaker for this Green Bay defense. He is going to be a key chess piece going forward. And I know, like I said in the opening, a lot of people are focused on the offense. A lot of people are focused at the wide receiver position and maybe even at the cornerback, defensive back position. But I tell you what, Packers fans, look at the linebacker position, because this Edin Cooper kid, he's going to be a star. He's going to be a game changer for you in 2025.